Hey, hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick, and we're going to do a mock draft today in a large 14-team league. It is Sunday, July 21st. I hope you're all keeping cool out there. It certainly was a hot one in Santa Fe yesterday. But anyway, we are going to get going here. I am picking in the 10th position of a 14-team league, and we're going to use my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, to help us pick players today. You can access my app exclusively through my website, which is fantasyfootballmaverick.com. And all you got to do is just sign up, get the app, and it's a very reasonable subscription. You can use it on all of your leagues this season. And I got to say, the bigger the league, the more valuable this app is. It works better in larger leagues. The larger the league goes, the better it works because each pick is just that much more important. You want to make the right decision. When you log into the app, it's going to ask you 3 questions. Okay, so the first question is, how does your league score points? Well, we're in Yahoo, so it's a half-point PPR is what we're setting up. Do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? Normally I say yes, but I'm going to say no here so we can see all the players on the list. And then do you want to enter draft mode, which breaks down the list round by round? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to say yes. We're going to select a 14-team league, picking 10th. Let's go ahead and enter draft mode. So you can see the player list right here. Here's the position filter. So if you just want to look at quarterbacks or running backs or wide receivers, you just use that. Down below, this is the draft mode filter. So this is each round of your draft. We also have recommendations below that, recommended players. I'm just going to minimize that just so we see the names. And then, of course, you got the player list below that. So when you are looking at, let's go to the first round of this draft. We're at pick number 10. What you are going to see here as far as the player list goes is you're going to see basically all the players between your first pick and your second pick. So you can see we've got players with their expected draft position between 7th and 20th, all right? So, but instead of being sorted by their expected draft position or sorted by some arbitrary top 200 list, right? We have it sorted by what I call the VORC score. And what VORC stands for is value, outlook, reliability, and consistency. It's basically these 4 columns over here. And based on how the player scores on each of these key stats, they get points, and those points are added up, and that gives you a VORC score. So you want players that have scored as many points as possible. And if you look to the bottom of the list, you'll see these players are very problematic. They've got big issues. They're either a poor value, or they have a poor outlook, or low reliability, or low consistency, or some combination of those that makes them poor choices for that round of the draft. So what I'd like to say is stick to looking at the players at the top half of the list. And then, of course, the recommendations are my favorites. So you can see here the top recommended players we're looking at here would be Tyreek Hill, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Julio Jones. Now, my personal preference is to take a running back in the first round. So if we look at the running backs, you can see, well, Melvin Gordon is a long shot, but he would be our top choice if he is actually available. But below him, you got Joe Mixon, James Conner, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, and Le'Veon Bell. So it's kind of it's basically in that order that I would take those players. So Mixon is certainly the one that I'm most likely to get. And so what I want to do is on the app, so you can see it's loading up, 28 seconds till we start. I'm just going to queue up Mixon. I'm going to queue up Connor. And then I'm going to queue up the 3 wide receivers that are recommended. So Hill, Juju, and Julio. All right? So that's going to help me out with knowing who to look for. So you can see it's moving towards our pick very quickly here, which is nice. Of course, if Gordon or David Johnson makes it to us, we can absolutely take them with our first pick. David Johnson doesn't even appear on our list, but if we look at the top 14 players, you can see that, Melvin Gordon and David Johnson are at about the same ranking. I think I would prefer David Johnson just because of the talk of the holdout for Melvin Gordon, but they're both good choices, right? And if you prefer Melvin Gordon, you can certainly take him. So it's almost to our pick, and you can see Melvin Gordon is still on the board. So we'll see if he gets taken. as soon as Don Juan takes his pick. He did not take him. So because Melvin Gordon is a long shot, and in my app you can see he's got the little gun next to him, that means he's a long shot, which means it's a 50-50 shot or less that we can get him, but we can, so we're going to take him. All right. So now it's going to move very quickly to our next pick. So we just need to go to the next round, and we definitely want to get ourselves an elite wide receiver. So we already have the 3 elite ones queued up on our queue list, but you can see it's also recommending Mike Evans. And so I'm going to definitely add Mike Evans to our queue, and I'll put him on there. And of course, we're just going to take the best of those 4, but I'm also going to queue up Derrick Henry and George Kittle, right? Because if they happen to slip or fall to our next pick, which is highly unlikely, but you never know, right? It can always happen. We will have the ability to get him. So you can see there's Mixon and Connor. And if we wanted to, if they make it to us, that would be, we could consider taking them. Of course, it doesn't matter. They both just got taken, so it doesn't matter. But you can see Hill is still on the board. That is amazing. If he makes it to us, that would be an absolute steal. And right now, well, Hill is, they actually adjusted his rank. Good, because yesterday he was in the hundreds on Yahoo, so they actually did fix that pretty quickly. But he is still here, and he would be absolutely my first choice. His value is outstanding. We basically end up with 2 top 10 value players overall with our first 2 picks. That is outstanding to start with. And when you're talking a 14-team league, that's going to give you a considerable advantage. Okay, well, Hill was taken, but Smith-Schuster is still on the board, as is Evans. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Smith-Schuster. That's still a great combo to start with. Smith-Schuster does not have... let's see here. If we look at the wide receivers, he is also a top 10. So that's fantastic. Value top 10. All right. So let's jump to the third round. It's going to be a little wait before our next pick, but you can see Phillip Lindsay, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods all being recommended. I still want to go heavy on running backs. So if we look at other running backs, we've got Josh Jacobs. Kerryon Johnson and Leonard Fournette are long shots, but I do let's queue up Lindsay and Jacobs for sure. I think they're both great choices. I think I might prefer Josh Jacobs just a bit, just because there's no timeshare in Oakland right now. There's none. You do not have to worry about a timeshare. It's going to be all Josh Jacobs, whereas you still have Royce Freeman in Denver. So, it's kind of taking a risk there. I'm going to also queue up Cooks and Woods on our list, but I do not intend to take another wide receiver until after I get at least 3 running backs. So, we'll go Woods and we'll go Cooks. Those guys are both great choices. They're great options, but we got them queued up. So what I'm going to do, we got such a long ways before our next pick. I'm just going to pause the video till we're within 3. We'll see how our queue list is going, and we'll make our decision at that point. Okay, so we are just about at our next pick. Something surprising happened. Phillip Lindsay got taken in the second round before Mike Evans. That was crazy. But look, Derrick Henry is still on the board. If Derrick Henry somehow possibly makes it to us, which I don't think he will, but if he does, that would be an absolute steal as our running back too. Of course, Josh Jacobs is still on the board there, and we have Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks still queued up. So this is why I like to use look at that. Okay, so Derrick Henry just got taken. Again, not surprising. He was expected to be gone by our next pick. But that's why I like to queue them up, because you can see that they're still, in fact, on the board. And that way you don't miss them on the next round when you're like, oh, that guy's definitely gone. Oh, no, he's not. He's still there. So Josh Jacobs is still on the board. But if we look at the other running backs available at this point, who else? Kerryon Johnson, Mark Ingram, Kenyon Drake, David Montgomery. So actually, in our next round, we're going to be targeting those guys. So Jacobs is our best choice. Let's go ahead and take Jacobs. Now we're going to jump to the fourth round, and you can see that it's recommending Kenyon Drake, Alshon Jeffrey, Jarvis Landry, and looking at running backs, David Montgomery is right there below Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs' long shot. So let's go ahead and we'll get Drake and Montgomery queued up, which I think either of them would be a fantastic choice for a half-point PPR league. So I'll just go Drake, and I'm going to go Montgomery. And then let's also queue up the other players. Who else was on there? It was Jeffrey and Landry. Oh, is Alshon gone? Alshon is gone, but Jarvis is gone too. Holy cow. All right, well, people are taking them early. And look, but Brandon Cooks is still on the board. That's kind of crazy. But this is very interesting what is happening in this order, that those guys would already be gone. Oh, wait, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm looking at running backs. No wonder it's not finding them. Okay, so Alshon, yes, he is still on the board. And Jarvis, I thought it was a little weird that they would both be gone that early, but they are still there, so that's good. We got them queued up. And certainly if Brandon Cooks made it to us, that would be a very intriguing pick for this round. I mean, Brandon Cooks' value is 37th. And we are going to be at pick number 47, so that's fantastic value. But again, one of the things this year, running backs are thin, wide receivers are deep as the ocean. You can wait on wide receivers and still get good options. See, look at that. Cooks made it to us. See, that's the thing. That's why it's so deep. Cooks is still available in the 4th round for us, but it's a choice between Drake and Montgomery. You know, we already took Josh Jacobs, the rookie. I'm kind of hesitant to take 2 rookie running backs, so I will just go with Drake. And let's move on to the next round. Now, of course, we got a big gap to our next pick, so you can see who are they asking. So look at this, 5th round, Robbie Anderson, rock solid wide receiver 2, still available. So that's why you can wait. Alshon Jeffrey still should be available on our 5th round pick. Tevin Coleman, now that's I believe he is a decent flex option at this point for wide receiver, so he's good too. So let's queue up Anderson and Coleman, and then all we got to do is just wait forever for our next pick. So there's Anderson and there's Coleman. We got them queued, so I'm just going to go pause until we're within 3. We'll see where we're at, and we'll see who we can take. Okay, and we're back. So you can see Alshon Jeffrey, Jarvis Landry, Robbie Anderson still all on the board. Tevin Coleman is also available. Given that we already have our 3 wide receivers, we definitely need to get our wide receiver 2 here. So we're going to take the best of these options once it finally comes to us. Likewise, Tevin Coleman, good chance he could be available on the next round, although I think on the next round, we're going to need to look at getting a tight end. We don't want to wait too long on a tight end for sure. So, these are all great options. Again, this is why you can wait on wide receivers, man. I mean, here we are in the 5th round, still excellent choices. Now, if I had to choose between these 3, boy, I mean, that is kind of tough. Given that both Jarvis and Alshon are holdovers from the prior round, though, I'm going to go with a high upside player. I love Jarvis. I love his upside. I love that offense, and I love he's playing opposite OBJ. That's going to open things up for him. I think he's got the most upside of those 3 players. So the next round's going to come back to us quickly. So let's jump to the 6th round here. Sterling Shepard, Jordan Howard, and Vance McDonald. He's the last of the TE ones that I'm really targeting. I really want to get him, and so we're going to need to take him this round. So I'm going to queue him up, but I'm also going to queue up the other guys, Shepard and Howard. Now Shepard, obviously another solid wide receiver too, right? I mean, another one. And then you've got Howard, who I think is going to have the best opportunity in that backfield. I don't think Miles Sanders is going to play till at least midseason. You know, I think he's a decent choice. He's like the he's gotten the 3rd most touches in the league in the past 3 seasons since he came on board. I think he's going to be a solid option, especially when we're taking him as our 4th running back. But we definitely need to get our tight end. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to, I'm 99% sure we're going to take Vance. We're going to get him, and then we will move on. Now, as far as quarterbacks go, all the elite quarterbacks are gone at this point. But you will see the quarterbacks are going to start popping up on our recommended list, and we're going to get ourselves a solid QB1 late. One of the keys to victory in larger leagues is you got to go for depth, which means you got to wait as long as you possibly can to take your quarterback and your tight end. And we're basically doing that right now for the tight end. But then quarterbacks, there's great later round options. There's Jared Goff. There's Phillip Rivers. There's There's Jackson. There's lots of good options. So great. We're going to take, again, pick 75, 6th round. We're going to take our tight end. And so this team is shaping up very, very nicely, man. Look at that. We got Smith, Schuster, and Landry as our wide receivers. Gordon, Jacobs, and Drake as our running backs. We got Vance McDonald as our tight end. This is progressing very nicely. I'm very happy with what's happening right now. So look, okay, Jared Goff, I was just talking about it. If we want to take Jared Goff, or look here, Kyler Murray, we want to take one of those guys, the next round is the round to take him in, the 7th round. If we wait a little longer, though, let's see here. We could get Dak in the 8th. We could get, let's see, no one there. We could get Kirk Cousins in the 10th, Lamar Jackson in the 10th. You know, there's good options here, but I really like the idea of going with Goff on this next pick. So let's go ahead and get all these guys queued up. So we'll get Goff and Murray and Goff and, Murray. I usually do not take rookie quarterbacks, but he's a rushing quarterback, so he is going to produce regardless. And I'm going to also queue up Christian Kirk. Again, that's what we do. We queue up any player on the recommended list because just in case they make it to our next pick, we'll know that they're still on the board and we can take them. All right. So it's going to be a while to the next pick. I'm going to pause. We'll come back within 3 and we'll make our decision at that point. All right, we're back and things are progressing as I expected. Look at this. Alshon Jeffrey, Sterling Shepard, still on the board. I mean, again, Shepard, these guys are both 2s. I mean, they're wide receiver 2s, and we are sitting here in the 7th round. They are still on the board. So again, don't kill yourself drafting wide receivers, man. You're going to be able to get good options. Oh, did someone just take Goff? Look at that. Someone just took Goff. Well, all right. So that is unfortunate. He was taken a little bit early. Oh, and look at that. Kyler Murray also got taken. Holy cow, they took all of our quarterbacks. Let's see who is still on the board as far as quarterbacks go. All right, so we got Dak for next round. You know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab myself one of these wide receivers. Let's grab Dak on the next round. I think that'll be the best way to do it. So that is unfortunate that those quarterbacks got taken just a smidge earlier than I expected. Now, as far as better, who's in a better situation, boy, that's really tough. I kind of like, oh, they're so close. I'm gonna go with Jeffrey. I'm gonna go with Alshon. I like the Philadelphia offense this season, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take him. And let's get Dak set up for the next pick. Obviously, it's a short turnaround to the next pick, so we should be able to get him no problem. But this happens every draft. There's gonna be maybe 1 or 2 top picks that you like, which are going to get taken way earlier than they should be. It's just a fact of life. But on the flip side, there will be long shots available that you'll be able to get later than expected. For instance, getting Alshon Jeffrey in the 7th, or getting Melvin Gordon in the 1st. I can't believe we got Melvin Gordon, but we did. So that's awesome. Dak should be our guy. And if we go here, what other quarterbacks are recommended this round? As far as the 8th round, Ben Roethlisberger's a long shot. Phil Rivers also is an option. So let's just queue up Phil, and just in case anything happens there, I think Phil Rivers is extremely disrespected in the draft list right now. Let's also queue up. We're going to queue up Fitzgerald and Westbrook. I think both those guys are great. Fitzgerald and Dede. Oh, Dede already got taken. Oh, right. Okay, so we got Fitzgerald queued up. Shepard's still on the board. I mean, again, don't kill yourself on wide receivers. I know I've said that like a million times, but really, seriously, don't. All right, so we'll get our quarterback, Dak Prescott. I think he's a great option. It's a great offense. Rock solid QB1 this year. He is a great choice. So now we're heading into the 9th round. Obviously, we got the long gap here. Who's on the 9th round? Okay, N'Keal Harry, one of my favorite rookie wide receivers. Absolutely worth the pick. Deshaun Hamilton, I think also a high upside wide receiver, especially since I don't have a lot of faith in Emmanuel Sanders right now. But N'Keal, let's definitely get him queued up. And we'll get, is it Deshaun or DEA? There he is. All right. Cue him up. So Deshaun Hamilton, I'm not really as thrilled with. I'm not a big I don't trust, the Denver quarterback. I don't trust him. So I don't think he's a good passing quarterback. So we're probably going to pass on Deshaun Hamilton. But you can see here, look, other options. We got Trey Burton, the tight end. We got Matt Breida, San Francisco running back. Michael Gallup. I mean, none of these guys really thrill me. Look at that. They all have terrible outlooks as far as what's happening. Kareem Hunt. Oh, he's a long shot. But if you wanted to take Kareem Hunt and store him on your bench for 2 months, now is when you need to take him. Now is the round that you want to grab him. So we are just going to go ahead and pause till we're within 3. We'll see where we're at, and we'll make our decision. All right, so it's just about our pick. And look at this. Christian Kirk still on the board. Phil Rivers still on the board. Larry Fitzgerald still on the board. I think we're definitely going to take a wide receiver here. If Kirk makes it to us, that would be an amazing steal. And then I was just looking ahead a little bit on the app. We're going to go running backs. We're going to go speculative running backs on the next few rounds to kind of round out our bench. But there are some really good options. So let's jump to the 10th round here. So the 10th round, you can see N'Keal Harry is still the top choice. Of course, he was gone, right? He already got selected. He was on our queue and everything. But Kirk Cousins, Lamar Jackson. So if you wanted to go with a QB2, right? You put if you want a backup quarterback, these are 2 excellent options to get in the 10th round. We don't need to do that. I think Dak Prescott is solid. But look, we've got Deion Lewis. We got Matt Breida, LaShawn McCoy, who I don't really like, Ito Smith. I don't really like any of those guys, but I definitely like Breida, and I like Lewis. So let's go ahead and we'll get them queued up, and hopefully we'll get one of them. Breida and Deion Lewis, another solid choice. Okay, well, that was quick. So let's just go ahead and pause. I'll pause till we're within 3, and then we'll come back. Okay, we're back. So Breida's still on the board. Lewis is on the board. Look at this. We got Rivers is still on. Fitzgerald's still on. Hamilton's still on. So we got, again, great options here, but we definitely want to get running backs. So between Breida and Lewis, boy, that's a tough one. Breida is higher rated, but his value is lower. So I think I'm going to go with Deion Lewis because his role is pretty secure, and you never know. I mean, he does catch a lot of passes. This is half-point PPR, so he has some value there. Of course, he'd have more value in full PPR, but I think he's a good choice. Excuse me. So let's go to 11th round. Now, 11th round, we've got Adrian Peterson, who is, again, another favorite of mine to target because I don't have a lot of faith in Darius Geis. I don't think Darius Geis is going to be ready to start the season. That means it's going to be the AP show. Also, we got Nyheim Hines, another pass-catching running back. We don't really need another one of those. But Damian Harris, for me, is a high upside running back that I think is going to have an opportunity this year to start for the New England Patriots. I don't have a lot of faith in Sony Michel being able to stay healthy for the whole season. This guy becomes Sony Michel's basically handcuffed, but with New England, they will start whoever they want to start on any given week. So any given week, he could be the starter. And, Sony's been injured and has not been participating in off-season stuff. Damian has, and so he's gotten the attention of the coaches. So AP and Harris are absolutely on my radar here. So let's go and we'll get Adrian Peterson queued up, and we'll get Harris queued up. Now, if I had to choose between the two, probably take AP right now at this point. But you can also see that Nyheim Hines is also on this. Let's go ahead and put him on as well, so we can just see where he is. But he would really be my third choice. Should it not make it back to us. So we got a ways to go here. I'm just going to pause. We'll come back. We'll see where we're at. All right, we're back. And our guys are still on the board. Peterson, Harris, Hines. I also put Cousins up. Lamar Jackson was taken, which is not unexpected. He was supposed to go. But again, Cousins, a quality backup quarterback. If you need one, get him late. You can get him super late. But AP is still my top choice. And I was just looking ahead at the next round. It is like one of my favorite rounds for high upside players, man. I don't know who I'm going to pick. It's going to be a really tough choice. But let's go here and wait for Don 1 to make his pick. And there we go. So I'm going to take Peterson. Now the 12th round. Look at these wide receivers. Tyrell Williams, James Washington, Parris Campbell. Awesome. But then running backs. Jalen Samuels, Alexander Madison, and Justice Hill, who's a guy that I've been wanting to target in just about every draft. I want to get this guy on my team. These are such amazing, excellent options. I'm going to queue them all up. So Terrell, James, and Parris. Terrell. Oh, did he get taken? He did. And then how about James Washington? Oh, he's gone. Shoot. All right. Well, how about Parris? Parris Campbell still on the board. How about Justice? Justice is there. Who else? Oh, yeah, Jalen Samuels. Alexander Madison. Who's the Alexander Madison? Is he gone? Oh, I think no, he's here. All right, he's good. All right. So these guys, again, quality backups, high upside players. These are, when you get to this point in the draft, there's a lot of established players, players that you know the names on. Like, look, LaShawn McCoy's still hanging around here, right? Oh, here's MVS. I'm going to put him on my queue as well. These guys by themselves are not going to be startable players, right? But I want to pick guys that have the potential to become starters. And so if I'm going to go high upside, Justice Hill, man, he is going to take he is going to be the Alvin Kamara role on this offense. He is just a crazy athlete. Huge upside guy. This is the kind of guy that could win you your league if you take him, and he actually becomes what most people expect him to become. All right. So, this is definitely a guy you want to get on your team. But shoot, I mean, Parris Campbell as a wide receiver, huge upside. Jalen Samuels, should anything happen to Connor, that dude is an RB1 every week. You know it right now. Okay. So that's the kind of guys I'm looking for at this point. Look, Damian Harris, still on the board. He's still available. I mean, there's really great choices here. This is one of my favorite rounds as far as, just taking a shot on somebody. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Hill. All right. I think I just love that pick. And now in the 13th round, okay, so now we've got two defenses who I very much like. Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles. Both these guys have great early season schedules. I typically just stream defenses, so I don't anticipate keeping these guys for more than 3 or 4 weeks and then finding the next great matchup. But as far as drafting a defense, and this is a deeper league, I usually wait till the second to last round, but I'm going to take him this round just because of the larger thing, and then we can just keep looking at high upside players. So I'm going to go ahead and get Dallas and Philadelphia queued up. Dallas and Philadelphia, they are now on the queue. We will pause. We'll come back when we're within 3, and we'll see who we're going to take. We are back, and Philadelphia got taken. But look at this. Damian Harris still on the board. Parris Campbell still on the board. Alexander Madison still on the board. But because I really need to get Dallas, I'm going to take Dallas here. I could gamble and wait, but most of the defenses that I want are gone. Buffalo is also still on the board, so I could get that if I wanted to as well. But I'm going to take Dallas. And then hopefully one of these guys will make it to the next pick, because I would love that. Now, as far as the 14th round, which is what we're heading into here, we got Mohamed Sanu, wide receiver, Philadelphia Eagles. Again, they're gone. Buffalo Bills. Again, that's kind of like my final option for defenses this season. But there's not a lot of great options outside of that. If we look at everyone else, Mohamed Sanu is decent, but I don't even think he's a flex value. None of these guys are really. So I'm looking high upside. Who can I get with my last bench slot? And I would love to get one of these guys. We'll see if one of them makes it to us. It could happen, maybe, possibly. I'm not going to count on it, but I'd be happy with any of these 3, right? To kind of close out this draft. And then we'll get a kicker, and we'll review the whole team. But this is a fine team. I am very happy with how this whole draft has gone. We only missed out on a couple of guys, and really none of them were like, oh, I can't believe I missed him. That's so terrible. It's fine. We got suitable alternatives. This team is going to be a playoff contender in this league. I can tell you that right now. So look at this. Oh my God. Look, Damian Harris and Parris Campbell both are still on the board. I'm going to take Parris here. I'm going to go with the high upside wide receiver. Definitely can become the wide receiver 2 on this league. Andrew Luck's the quarterback. It's all good, man. It's going to be great. He's going to be an awesome choice. And then all we need to do is just take the kicker. So I'm just going to pause and I'll take my kicker. I'll come back. We'll review the team. All right. So let's review this team. Let's see what we think, right? Okay. So for our running backs, we got Melvin Gordon, Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, Matt Breida, Adrian Peterson, and Justice Hill. I very much like that. Okay. So for wide receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jarvis Landry, Alshon Jeffrey, Christian Kirk, and Parris Campbell. Again, amazing depth there. For our quarterback, we've got Dak Prescott. For our tight end, we got Vance McDonald. We got Dallas as our defense, and I picked up Matt Prater as our kicker. He's perfectly fine. Again, I tend to stream both the kicking and the defense position. But overall, I love this team. This is a fantastic team to bring in with us to this fantasy season. Just rock solid, nice high upside players on the bench, especially Hill and Campbell. Those guys can both become starters this year, I do believe. So just amazing value here. Very happy with this. And again, in these larger leagues, man, each pick is just that much more important. My app is going to point out when you need to take these players, right? That's the big thing, like, right? I mean, if you wanted to take, let's say you want Patrick Mahomes to be your quarterback, well, when do you need to take him? Well, according to this draft position in this size league, let's see here. Oh, he's a second round pick. Is he really worth the second round pick? Because if you want him, that's when you got to take him, right? I mean, again, we waited until the 7th round or 8th round to take our quarterback. Much better situation. We were able to use those early rounds to get that great core of running backs and that great core of wide receivers. I mean, just top notch. I'm very happy with what I ended up with there. So anyway, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you liked it. Please go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com, sign up, get the app, use it in all your drafts this season. It is going to make such a considerable difference in how you draft and the quality of the teams that you draft. You are going to be amazed. It is like night and day. Before I created this app, I had never won a fantasy football championship. I played for 12 years, never won a championship. I created this app in 2015. I played in 12 leagues since then. I've won 6 championships. I've been to 7 championship games. This thing is a total, it's a game breaker. It is going to help you win your league the same way it helps me win my league. Check it out. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and comment below, and have yourself a great day, man. Stay cool out there.